Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Miracle. In this channel I talk about women's wellness and mental health. um, if this is your first time stopping by my channel, please do well to like, subscribe, drop a comment. At the start of the year, I decided I want to do better by my health. I was putting up a lot of weight owing to the struggles I have with insulin resistance. Apart from the weight, there are a lot of changes to my body, my skin. I struggled with insomnia. It was hard to sleep. I was struggling with anxiety and a lot other things, that I believe are attributable to insulin resistance or obesity. And I decided this year I am doing better. Okay, at the onset, I decided to fast. First, it was short time fasting, like OMAD 1 meal a day. I will fast for the most of the day and have my dinner. But then I realized I wasn't getting the best of the benefits there could. The possible benefits to fasting. For instance, I would casually break my fast with a high carb meal, and I realized I wasn't losing as much weight as I would want to, but I was getting other benefits such as being able to sleep better, my brain function was better. So I decided that for the sacrifice I'm putting in, I want to make the best out of it. That's why I always use the word maximize. I want to get the most benefit from the situation. So I shifted from just an OMAD style fasting to a long fast. Okay, I could fast for 2 days straight or 3 days straight. At the onset, I would go 3 days straight fasting. But then I realized that breaking my fast on a Monday and then planning meal on a work day was difficult. So I adjusted to mostly over 48 hours fast, but not up to 72 hours. So I would fast the whole of Thursday, the whole of Friday, and then Sunday halfway I would break my fast and plan my meal for the entire week up till Thursday. Okay, so that has been the new lifestyle since early February this year. In this video, I want to talk about the impact it has had on my um, menstrual cycle. Okay, it's more or less about how fasting could impact other aspects of your life as a woman. Okay, um, first off, when I started fasting 3 days on, I was enjoying it until I realized that it affected my cycle in a negative way. For me to just go straight on fasting round the month, I've had about 3 occasions where long fasting sort of altered my expectation in terms of my menstruation. For one of the occasions, I was on fast and I started bleeding before my due date, like almost 6 to 7 days before my due date. I was not expecting it, and well, it happened. Good, okay, fine. But then I realized that while on the fast, I wasn't bleeding properly. When it comes to women's cycle and bleeding, there is a usual amount of blood that we'll consider typical. So if a woman is bleeding excessively, it's a problem. And when a woman is bleeding in a way that I would describe as scanty, then that's a problem. So I experienced a very scanty cycle at first. I would just wear the pad and probably for the whole day, just like sporting. I was concerned for the first 2 days, and I went into panic mode. I decided I was going to stop the fasting. So I had to quickly switch into eating right away. So that adjusted a bit, and then it became regular. The bleeding became regular. But what I realized was that first, it came before the due date. The 2 or 3 days of the scanty or the spotting I experienced was more or less not counted in the actual bleeding that started after I started feeding. So that's what I would say is irregular menstrual experience. Yeah, of course I don't want that for myself, and I think another time again, this would happen on weekends where it would coincide with my period. If I'm fasting on any other day or weekend off my period time frame, of course I don't have a problem. But months after months, whenever the fasting would coincide with my time of the month, then I would experience these strange things. Okay, and in order to arrest the situation, I started to make some findings about fasting and the impact on women's menstrual cycle. I saw content from Dr. Mindy, the woman author. She talks about how to fast like a girl, So I took one or two from her content, and I made adjustments following the advice. Not just her, there are a lot of creators out there, both male creators as well, that talk about the impact of fasting on women's menstrual cycle. Okay, so and that helped me to put an adjustment into my present realities. So I have adjusted to not fasting a few days before my period. In fact, any weekend that coincides just very close to my period, I would, just step back a bit on fasting, so that I'll make the most of the situation. That is just one. That is just one point. I think that took a long time to explain. Okay, one lesson that I've just stated now is that I do not fast. I mean, long fast. It's different from OMAD, like you fast for some time and eat once or twice a day. That's a different thing. I'm talking about long fasting, extended fasting period. It's not good around your ovulation or women's cycle. It's not good for your feminine health. Okay, too much of it. Okay, so that point has been made. The next other point I'll make about fasting and how it's impacted my feminine health is that it has actually healed me in a way. Yes. Um, I hope I'm not contradicting myself here, but it has caused some form of healing in healing from what I was experiencing before. Before now, I used to have severe menstruation pains, menstrual pains. In fact, how I know my period is about to happen is it starts with pain, right? And when the period is over, I have another special kind of pain. Okay, the first pain will introduce me to the start of the cycle. After 3 days of bleeding, I would have an excretion. I'll pass out very thickened lumps of blood and some layerings, which I did some findings as well, some research, and I realized that what was coming out of me is called decidual cast. Okay, so I will pass out decidual cast, which is like the uterus kind of shedding, the walls of the uterus just shedding itself, and that usually marks the end of my cycle. But it's usually painful. But the beautiful thing I'm about to say right now is that since my fasting cycle, I no longer have pains. Pain does not introduce my bleeding cycle. Pain does not end my bleeding cycle. Okay, I still pass the strong or the thickened lumps, which marks the end of the cycle. I still pass that, but it happens so painless, and that's a miracle, guys. That's a miracle. So I think I've said a lot today about how fasting has affected or is impacting my menstrual cycle. And I hope you've learned something from this video. Please do encourage me by liking, sharing, commenting. Subscribe to my channel, please. Thank you so much. And see you next video.